Hello everyone. Now we start with a new topic, and that is basics of mechanisms. From this time onwards we are going to talk about different mechanisms. What are the mechanisms, what is the meaning of a mechanism, how it works, what is the theory behind it, what are the velocities of various points which are there on the mechanism, and so on. So this is going to be a new area for us now, and we are beginning that from today. The name is, we start with the basics of the base terminology that is used in the case of mechanisms. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll dictate to you a few terms, and then while dictating we'll be able to describe what are these terms, what they mean. So just write down study of mechanisms. Study of mechanisms. Study of mechanisms. The first definition is kinematic link. Kinematic link. Now write down what is a kinematic link. It is a resistant rigid body. It is a resistant rigid body which forms a unit element of a mechanism. Links move with respect to each other. When a mechanism operates. For example, connecting rod, piston, cylinder, crank, frame, slider, etc. Okay, now see what we are written. We are written something, a definition of a term that is called as a kinematic link. What is called as a kinematic link? Now, kinematic link is a basic element of any mechanism. And then we have said that particular link is such that it should be rigid, as in the definition where it is a resistant rigid body. Now see, all of you are knowing at least one mechanism. For example, in IC engine there is a piston, and the piston is moving inside a cylinder. And who is moving the piston? There is a connecting rod and crank. So all of you know this kind of a thing. So how do we draw a piston and cylinder mechanism? We draw it like this. So this is our piston. Then this piston is moving inside a cylinder. This is a representation of a slider and crank mechanism. So this is a slider and crank mechanism which all of you must have already been seen. Must have seen it somewhere. So in this, this is called as crank. This part is called as crank. This is connecting rod. This is piston, and this is cylinder. So all of you know this. Now here the crank rotates. Because of the rotation of the crank, finally what happens is piston reciprocates like this inside a cylinder, and then the cylinder functions the way you all know. In IC engine you must have learned that there is a suction, then there is a compression, then exhaust, and then there is a power, and then the exhaust. So whatever happens, but then what we are now going to learn is the movement of various parts of a mechanism. So what is drawn here is a mechanism, and each of these component is a link. So this crank is a link, connecting rod is a link, piston is a link, cylinder is a link. And what we have written already in the definition is that link is a resistant rigid body. That means what? This link, suppose you take crank. This is a crank. Suppose I draw a crank, only crank. Then crank looks like this. This is just a schematic diagram. There is something called as a schematic diagram. We have drawn this as a schematic diagram. That means this diagram is something which tells us how this entire mechanism is all about, without drawing the actual shape of the link. Now this link when you draw, this crank when you draw, if you literally see the crank will have its own complex shape. But then we are representing it just by this line, which becomes sufficient for us to understand its function. Okay, so what is shown here at the end what we have shown is the pin joint. So you can draw a crank maybe something like this, the actual crank or an actual link. This could be the shape of the actual plate, which has got certain width, certain thickness, certain length. Then there are holes with certain distance, and through these holes, now these holes will come here. This is like a pin joint. So with this joint, it is connected to another link. So two such links we take like this, and at this place we are putting a pin so that it forms something like a pin joint, like this. Okay, so that is what is represented by these dots which are there. So a link is like this. So what is shown here is the actual link, and this link is shown in the form of a schematic diagram like this, just like a line, and the pin joints which are shown like this. So in the schematic diagram, this diagram is representing crank in this case. Even connecting rod also can be shown in the same way. And what we see from all this is that it is a kinematic link as a basic name. This is a special name, this is a general name, and this kinematic link has to be rigid. Now what is the meaning of rigid? The meaning of rigid is that it should not deform. Suppose in this case, suppose you make this instead of metal, suppose you make it out of plastic. Then what will happen? Plastic is something which can be easily deformed. So if you make a link out of plastic, then what will happen is when it starts functioning, probably it will bend. And if it bends, what happens? The distance between these endpoints, this distance will not remain constant. And the entire property of the mechanism depends on the length of the link, and the length of the link is counted from the pin joints. Therefore, this distance we should not change, and that will happen only if the link is rigid. Therefore, here in the description of kinematic link, what we have written is that it should be a resistant rigid body. A resistant means it should not get deformed by external forces, and it is rigid, that means it should not deform in any way, and that is why the definition goes like this. And then we have written the examples, and in the examples we have written all the different things. Also we have written one more line which says that the links have relative motion with respect to each other. And there we have also mentioned in the example frame. Frame is a machine. Frame is also a link. Now as you know, frame doesn't move. Then how it can be a link? Here in this case, the cylinder is shown as stationary, and in the stationary cylinder the piston is moving. So if the cylinder is stationary, then how can we say that it is a link? But then if you read it carefully, what it says, the links move with respect to each other. With respect to each other means although this is fixed and this is moving. Now when you say this is moving, this movement is with respect to this link, and we are standing on a floor which is stationary, this is also stationary, so we and the cylinder both are stationary, therefore the piston is moving. Now suppose we are standing on the piston. If we are standing on the piston, then you will not realize that you are moving, then you will get a feeling that the cylinder is moving. That is called the relative motion. See, all of you know sun and earth. We are on the earth, so we feel that earth is not moving, only the sun is rising, and it is there is a sunset and a sunrise. So sun is moving like this, we feel. But in reality, as you know, the earth is rotating around the sun. So this is a clear concept of relative motion. So any movement which is there, that is always with respect to something. So although you say this is fixed because with respect to you it is fixed. But with respect to the piston, cylinder is not fixed, it is moving. Okay, so that's why in the definition it is written, and in the example, even the frame also, which is stationary for us, that also is an example of a kinematic link. Now the next is kinematic pair. Kinematic pair, write down. When two or more links are connected together, such that there exists a relative motion between these links, such that there exists a relative motion between these links. 1 minute. Such that there exists a relative motion between these links, then such connection is called as kinematic pair. Such connection is called as kinematic pair. The relative motion should be constrained. The relative motion should be constrained properly so that it can be defined by certain number of independent coordinates. These number of coordinates decide the degree of freedom into bracket DOF, degree of freedom of the mechanism that is formed. Degree of freedom of the mechanism that is formed. Okay, so we have written certain things in the form of a description about the kinematic pair, what it is. So here what it says, that when two or more links are connected together such that there is a relative motion between them, then that connection is called as a kinematic pair. So you can see here, one link is connected to another link at this point, and while connecting there is a motion between the two. That means the two links are having motion like this. So this is a kinematic pair. Even you can see this is connected here, kinematic pair. You can see this piston is moving inside a cylinder. So piston is moving inside a cylinder also becomes a kinematic pair, because one link is moving with respect to another link. Here it is a sliding motion, here it is a rotary motion, but then it is a relative motion, so it is a pair. And moreover it says that such motion whichever is there, that should be definable. That means you should be able to define that it has moved by such and such amount. So it is written that it should be constrained properly. Constrained properly means you have to restrict it in such a way that it will move always in one particular manner. It will not move here once, next time to move here, next time to move there. That should not happen, because then the mechanism will not be reliable. So the movement should be constrained. Constrained means it should be restricted so that it will take place in a particular manner all the time. That is the meaning of constraint. So all these words have come in the description of what is a kinematic pair. And now what we do is, we will take the examples, different examples of kinematic pair. So just write this down. So now we see how to classify the different types of kinematic pairs. So write down classification of kinematic pair, and under that you write down based on relative motion between links. So the first classification is based on the relative motion between the links, and in that first is sliding pair. Sliding pair. So draw this sketch. So this is a sliding pair. Now what you see here is there are two objects. This is one object, something like a bush, and then there's another object is here, like a square rod you can say. Now this square rod is put into the square hole which is there in the bush, and then this square rod is performing a sliding motion. So there are two parts, one is fixed, the other is performing motion which is of a sliding type, and as per the definition there are two links and they are connected together and their motion is constrained in just in one line. Therefore, under the lady motion as I said, so this is becoming a sliding pair. This is an example of that. Then the next is turning pair. Turning pair. So draw the sketch. So again there are two parts. One part which is the body, which is the frame, which is the bearing, which is the pedestal, which is the bush, that is fixed. And the other part is like this, which is rotating. And as you say, if you compare here and here, then this is again something similar, but the shape is non-circular shape. Because of that it cannot rotate. This cannot rotate but it can slide. Now this will rotate, but we have restricted the sliding action. So this will not slide because of the more diameters which are there. The diameters are higher on these two sides. Therefore, this particular pin will only rotate, it will not slide. So only rotation called as turning pair, only sliding action called as a sliding pair. So sliding pair, turning pair. Then you draw the next diagram, cylindrical pair. Maybe I'll draw like this. So now we are drawing again something similar, but the object here is, one object here is circular object. So you can say it is a combination of the two. So this rod will rotate also and this will slide also. It will perform both types of rotations, and of course when one is fixed. When you fix this, then you can perform these two motions which will take place, and this is called as a cylindrical pair. You will notice here that in this case, this is the displacement, I'll call it as D. So the motion is, the displacement is the only thing, that is the relative motion is only in the form of displacement. Here the relative motion is only in the form of rotary motion, that is angle. So the measurement of the moment here is in the form of an angle. The measurement of a moment here in this case is in the form of a sliding action. The measurement of moment in this case is sliding as well as rotating. So there are two ways in which it will rotate and it will move. Now you will realize here that this is reliable. This is reliable. Is this reliable? This is not reliable in one sense that this rotation and this displacement, it doesn't have any relation. So sometimes only this will exist, sometimes only this will exist, sometimes both will exist. So there is no guarantee what will happen. Probably in the case of a machine, this may or may not be useful depending on the application. So this is a cylindrical pair. Now the next we say it is a helical pair. It is also called a screw pair. So I draw the figure again. Now what you see here is again two parts. Out of that, one part is fixed like this, and now this part, which is like a screw, which has got a threading. Now this part you will see that it is rotating. It is capable of rotating. It is also moving like this. So it has got d, it has got theta. It has got a linear motion also, and it has got a rotary motion also, but there is threading also there. So if you now compare these two cases, what can you observe? If you compare these two cases, both these cases there is displacement and rotation. Displacement and rotation. But there is a difference between the two. The difference is, here these two things are independent. You can have displacement without rotation. You can have rotation without displacement. Here it is not so. That means here the displacement is a function of rotation, or vice versa. That means rotation and displacement, they are related. Although they are two different things, they are related. That means the variable is only one. The variable is only one. Here there are two different variables. So that's why we said earlier that this may not be reliable. This will be reliable, because although there are two different types of movements, they are related. Okay, so that was the helical pair. Rolling pair. Rolling pair. So I'll draw this. So one object like a roller. It is a roller. Remember, it is not a ball. It is a roller. Maybe you can draw it in the 3 dimensions so that it is clear what it is. Now this is a roller, and what this roller will do? It will perform rotary action, and it will move also forward. So again it will have rotation and displacement. It will have rotation and displacement, but again they are related. They are related, therefore d is a function of theta again. So this is called a rolling pair, and it is useful because the two different movements are related, like this. Then there are many other pairs. For us, we are discussing this much, and now we take the next part. Just write this down.